I'm George, and I sell sex. Wait. I sell worms having sex. I sell composting red wigglers, but I sell their breeder bins, as I call them. A way I make a bunch more worms. When I put these worms into a system where there's less worms in it, they breed heavily, and we end up with a thousand-ish cocoons in a 3-week process. So what I sell is these mature worm systems. We'll have a look now at the way I collect these worms and what I mean by this. Let's go look. So we'll go in the basement, we'll have a look at how I do this. What I do is I go in and I take the top off of my worm breeding system. I've showed lots of pictures and videos where that's just covered with worms. I'll take that off of there, I'll make a pile, and that pile itself is right full of worms, but they're light phobic. So as I pull the compost off the top, they disappear down into the compost, bringing the compost to the top. All right, feeding time, and I'm collecting more worms for the market. Let's see how they're doing. Oh, lots of worms, looks great. Oh, you are so sneaky. You are so sneaky. There you go. I've scraped a bunch off the surface. I've made a pile here, and we'll have a look. This is the pile that's left over. While I was talking, they've all gone down and disappeared out of the light. I'll weigh them, and I'll put them into their own breeder bins here. This is a Johnson Sioux compost in it that's mostly finished, and we'll use that as a bedding for them and feed them on top. But anyways, here we go. We'll remove this bedding from the top. Well, there, I think for all intent and purpose, we have separated enough out of there. So now what I do is I take these worms, we'll weigh them out, a ½ pound, and we'll set these beds with them. I'll look at that real quick. I'll drop them into the bed here, sprinkling them all over. Eventually, I'll feed them on top, so they're in a wonderful compost. They eat this compost as well. Now I use a baby chicken starter feed and some other seed meals and rock dusts and crustacean meals in there. So now we'll leave these. I'll put this on a time lapse again, and we'll watch these worms disappear. All right, they've mostly disappeared. I do put a small amount of a less finished compost on there. And it's got a lot of worms in it and eggs in it as well. Gives us a diversity of microbes. But they also like to feed on that younger compost. There's a lot more nutrient in it. So let them bring them up to the surface. Feeding, I'll do 2 feedings a week. I'll do on the outsides here. Getting the worms to move all over this. Because what happens is the worms are hermaphrodites. So they have both parts. They crawl across each other. So when they come up to feed on top of that compost, because they're a top feeder, they touch where they need to touch, they exchange the parts they need to go, and that clitellum, that round part around the worm, is left with a cocoon in it. So that's why we like these beds. When I sell these beds, we're going to get 600 or so worms, 500 to 600 worms, but a little over ½ pound of worms. So I normally sell a pound of worms for $50. Instead, I sell these breeder bins. So we don't have to separate the worms. They don't have to go through being on a foamy ball with nothing around them. Instead, they're very comfortable. They're in their home. And there's also going to be around 1,000 cocoons at the end of a 3-week gestation period. So, I'm sorry, the gestation period is about a month. So I harvest them after 3 weeks. So these ones that I'm selling at the market, I've had 3 weeks to be in there, crawling across each other, leaving those cocoons in there. So we're getting a little over ½ pound of worms. We're getting that Johnson Sioux thermophilic, or Johnson Sioux compost, which is just incredibly diverse in microbes. And then we're also getting the cocoons that are in there. And that's going to be 4 worms per cocoon for a red wiggler. So up to 1,000 cocoons at 4 worms per cocoon, you can do the math. It's a really nice way to jumpstart a system. So rather than putting a handful of worms onto some shredded cardboard and them having to crawl all over it, getting those bacteria, those microbes all over that cardboard to break it down and get the system going, this really jumpstarts a system for the same price. Much better than a pound of worms, I believe. This is Fat Ninja Food Forest. I have these worm systems available. Let's get these friends of ours working for us, the plants, animal, and fungi, working in that symbiotic relationship. The composting is a big part of that. Worms are a very simple way, a very wonderful way to make some of the best compost in the world. That's a whole other video, though. Change can be better than holiday. It's long overdue. Peace.